Hi Leo, welcome to your weekly Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. If you haven't got your winter solstice seat yet, there are still spaces and there is still time. 21st of December. So with that said, as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So as many of you know, I am a ascendant Leo, right? So when I went into my intuition this week, what I saw for us, and this isn't me being biased of course, what I saw was like, you know, one of those, you know, the superhero moment where they're stood on the edge of a ledge and they're looking out over the city that they defend or whatever. And the message was having your superhero moment. This is about surveying the land. What it really looked like more than anything else was the Three of Wands. It was like I was seeing that card. And the feeling that I get from this is it's about expanding your vision and it's about really surveying the horizon. This is about asking yourself, you know, not just because we're at the end of the year, but really asking yourself on a deep level, where do we go from here? What is it that I want to create from here on in? What is it that I put my energy into? What am I prepared to fight for? What am I willing to defend? This is really asking you in a big way, what is it that you stand for now? Where is it that you are taking your life path? This is, you know, really big stuff for you to be asking yourself this week. We've had a card jump out for the destiny and it is the Hanged Man, right? So this is a moment to take it, you know, the superhero always takes a knee before they get up and start, you know, rah, or they, you know, stand there and survey the land and stuff. The Hanged Man really is a moment of detachment. It's a moment of reassessment and reevaluation. It's the moment where you do nothing, where you stand still, where you connect to your spiritual self, where you connect to spirit, God, source, you know, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And this is asking you, where do I go from here? Where is it that truly feels like I am being pulled? Where is it that I feel like I'm being directed? And this really asks you to do that, to go through the process of connecting to your higher self, to ask yourself, what next? Where is it that I go from here? What is it that what is it that I go on to do from here on in? So the direction card for the week ahead, what is the message here? Let's give it some context or some background information. And this week we got the Tower card, right? So this is an interesting one. So you got this message to ask you, right? This kind of suggests to me one thing in respect to the superhero moment, right? The superhero is about what? It's about standing up to the tough stuff. It's about fighting the battles that nobody else can. It's about having the energy, the courage to be that person that does what needs to be done. You know, one line that I read in a book years ago, and it really stayed with me. It was just a fiction book, but it was, you know, one of the villains said to like the protagonist or the, you know, the lead character, I feel like you're good, but I also feel like you're tough enough to do what needs to be done. That's what a superhero is, right? And this is about you tapping into that energy. This is about you asking yourself, what do I stand for? What will I fight for? What will I defend? Where am I taking my life path from here? Why are you asking this? Because the Tower card is bringing you a moment this week where you are going to have to step up to the plate. This is that moment, right? The hero's journey is definitely a leonine myth, right? Your Harry Potters, your Star Wars, your you know, the underdog rising, you know, the moment where the superhero looks like they might not be able to pull through, but then they come through. The Tower card does suggest that there is going to be a moment this week. There's going to be a challenge that you need to rise up to, that you need to meet. And before you do that, you need to drop to a knee. You need to have a moment where you connect to yourself, where you connect to source and ask yourself, is this a battle that I'm supposed to fight? Is it one that I'm supposed to walk away from? And more importantly, from having my superhero moment, what do I believe about that, right? This, because the thing about the Tower card doesn't have to be some cataclysmic event. Sometimes it can just be a really big realization that happens on an internal level. The fact that it falls with the Hanged Man, which is Neptunian, this could be a very deep spiritual insight that makes you think, wow, you know what, I need to completely change my path. Maybe I need to dedicate myself to a different way of doing things. This is about you having that moment where you're surveying the horizon to ask yourself, what is it now? Where do I go from here? Let's give it some more context with the Insight card. It comes with the Five of Wands. This may be about where you have to compete. It may be because the Five of Wands is, you know, as one of my favorite readers calls it, an agent of chaos. It can be, right? This can also be about where you need to compete. It can be about where arguments happen. It can be about where you need to stand your ground, where you need to have the conversation, where you need to you know, because the Five of Wands is a lot of people talking at once. It's everybody having their 2 cents. And it might be that you have to be the unifying force in a conversation that comes up this week. This could be to do with family. You know, with the Hanged Man, it could definitely be to do with family. It could be to do with something that you know innately is going to press your buttons, and you have to fight against that aspect of yourself, you know, to find the truth of the matter, right? To look for the deeper meaning in all of this. But yeah, your Five of Wands as an Insight card, it basically says you are going to have to be the not the strong hand on the tiller, but yeah, or maybe like the guiding force this week to, you know, to bring together so many differing or opposing views or energies. And sometimes that does take the courage of a superhero, you know, whatever that means to you. This is going to play out for all of us in one way or another, you know. So if it's not too personal, let me know how it shapes up for you in the comments. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.